I recently finished my playthrough of the Metaphor ReFantazio prologue demo, and I have a lot of thoughts on the subject, but if there's one thing that you need to know right off the bat, I'm very excited to get my hands on the game next week. Let's talk about Metaphor ReFantazio. And yeah, if you're not familiar with the Persona or Shin Megami Tensei series from Atlus, Metaphor ReFantazio is a JRPG that has turn-based combat. It has a calendar system that you have to go through, and on top of that, it has style. The games have evolved with their art direction, and they have come to here. Metaphor ReFantazio looks incredible, and I want to kind of go over all the things that I think are good, all the things that I think are bad, all the things that I think could maybe use some work. I don't know, but all I want to do here is just kind of give you an idea of what to expect out of this game if you're even interested at all, and give you, a recommendation at the end, letting you know if this is something that you should look forward to or not. So let's just get into it. And first, I want to discuss the bad. There's really nothing bad per se. There is some performance issues. There are some performance issues that I noticed in some of the bigger areas. I played on the PlayStation 5, so FPS sometimes tanked a little bit. Not enough to ruin the experience for me. It was noticeable, but again, it wasn't noticeable that often. And when it happened, it kind of made sense. There was just a lot of crap happening on screen. So I kind of, took it as like just the system kind of chugging. Now, the game, I don't believe should be chugging along like this. I think that it should hold a steady 60 FPS, just based on how the game looks. But I don't know how the coding works, or I'm not a game developer, so I couldn't tell you exactly why it's doing this. Maybe it'll get patched out. I don't know. I hear the PC version is kind of rough. So as of right now, the PS5 version looks really good, but it has those FPS issues. That's really the only bad thing I could tell you from this demo experience. Anything that I would recommend to be improved, again, just the performance. In terms of anything else that I could think of, that's kind of it. So that should tell you where I'm at with my thoughts about this veggie game, So let's just get into the good, and it's pretty much most of it. Let's talk about the graphics and the art direction. This game, just looking at it, it's striking, right? It hits you with this like, boom, baby, I look good, I look stylish. Look at my menus, look at my UI, right? This game is like an amalgamation of everything that Atlus and the developers over at Studio Zero did. And all the years of learning with the Persona series and with Shin Megami Tensei, this game looks incredible. It is a testament to what a strong art direction will do for your video game. I posted on Twitter on my personal account, Onyx Talk, if you want to follow me there, it's at Onyx Talks, that hyper-realistic graphics are cool, but they are hurting the game industry. And this right here, this is a proven success of using stylized graphics and a strong art direction without having to chase a hyper-realistic look. And it works. I am so immersed in this game, and I am so immersed in this world, and I don't need it to look like Hellblade 2 or God of War Ragnarok. It just looks amazing on its own without needing to see the pores on characters' faces, you know what I mean? I love it. And also, the UI and the menus are so frigging snappy, right? Everything feels really quickly. Just reading the text, choosing the actions, and going into the actual battle and combat. Guys, it is so snappy. It is insane how quick this game feels. And perfect. This is a perfect segue, because the next part I'm going to talk about that I think is fantastic is the gameplay itself. Now, this is the Shin Megami Tensei or Persona formula, but in such a refreshing way. Archetypes are interesting, and they can lead to some pretty cool ideas and opportunities for awesome tactics. Combat feels like you kind of really need to think about your actions and how things synergize. I took on an optional mini-boss doing one of the side quests that you unlock if you can find the right person here, the right followers, I think it's what it is. And that particular boss was really tough on normal, especially if you don't think about your loadouts, right? You have to think about your loadouts, otherwise you're going to make a lot of mistakes. This is great. I love that it challenges you, but it never felt unfair, and that's kind of the big one here. Persona or Shin Megami Tensei games tend to start challenging, mainly due to a lack of MP. It's true here. There is a major lack of MP. We have to see if it holds out for the final game. Dungeons are also well designed, but most importantly, they are greatly paced. They don't feel like a chore. It felt really good and very, I don't want to say chill, because the game is still tense and it still kind of keeps you on your toes, but it felt like it was a breeze in a way to kind of just traverse the dungeon. I didn't feel tired or burnt out by the end of the dungeon that you go through. And there's a few you go through in the demo. I'm speaking about the optional one that you can go through. It didn't feel like a chore. And by the time I finished, I kind of want to go back to see if I missed anything else. I never do that in games. I don't care about if I missed stuff or items or chests. I didn't want to do that, which again is a testament to how well designed these dungeons are. And then let's move on now to the story. I'm instantly hooked, guys. It's a story of becoming a king, but also saving the world. And the characters that you meet are really well written. I'm a big fan of Stroll, actually. He's just such a cool looking character. I like how his demeanor, his whole backstory that you know so far anyway in the demo. It's really engaging. I don't know. He's a cool character. And honestly, just well written characters are to be expected from this team. The world is also incredibly engaging. Just being able to jump on your sword and kind of zoom around, dude, it's so cool. It also feels good to me that I'm invested in wanting to learn more about the world and what's going on. It's interesting because in the Persona series, right, which is Atlus's most popular series, the world is just like modern Japan, which is interesting on its own. It's a fantastic setting. But people have been wanting the Persona series to evolve and maybe like get out of high school, go somewhere else. Doing a fantasy setting is such a genius idea. It honestly worked tremendously in keeping me engaged, because I played Shin Megami Tensei 5, and while I did enjoy that game as well, it didn't have the same vibe as a true fantasy game like this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can't wait to see where the story goes. And then this is like a no-brainer, but the music, bro, it's Shoji Meguro composing a fantasy-themed soundtrack. It sounds absolutely fantastic. I mean, the main battle theme is one of the most epic sounding songs I've heard out of a game in years. And it's the regular ass battle theme. Like, what? Like, I can't even imagine what some of the boss themes that are going to be in this game are going to sound like. Like, if you know what Persona games are like, especially Persona 5, right? And you think of like how the main battle theme is, and then like the boss themes, and then the special boss themes, and then like the final boss themes, I have no idea how this game is going to go in terms of that soundtrack, but like, yeah, it's going to be some good shit, and you know it. So all in all, I genuinely think Atlus has a hit on their hands. Like, I mean, come on, who would have thought the Persona formula mixed with a fantasy setting would have worked so incredibly well, right? Listen, if the pacing and the story quality keep up, this could easily top Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as my game of the year. And that's saying something, because you guys know, if you know, how much I loved Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Okay? So, yeah. If you like RPGs, if you like JRPGs, if you like Japanese, just influenced fantasy games, please check out the demo and consider buying this game, because, bros, this might be a surprise winner at this year's The Game Awards. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for listening. I do appreciate your time. We will talk about this game later, because I'm going to be streaming it as soon as I can after it comes out. So if you like what you saw, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Metaphor. Are you interested in it? Are you going to skip on it? And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. There you go.